Good morning. It is Tuesday, 10/28/25. Woo! It's almost Halloween. Well, we got a couple of top stories before we get into the Biden Autopen scandal. I bet it's going to be the biggest scandal in the presidential history. It's insane, right? So we have a little article we're going to go over and read it and see what it says. Exciting stuff, exciting stuff. A couple of headline news. Hurricane Melissa is set to hit Jamaica as its strongest storm since records began. It's going to be devastating. Look, I got this thing hanging. I love this hat, and it's all trashed, but hey, they're the best kind, right? Hats or shirts or clothes that you had. I remember being a kid and having a pair of jeans. Levi jeans was the big thing back in the 70s. And I was probably 10, 11, 12, whatever, kid of the 70s. And there was a hole in the knee of my jeans. And mom's like, oh, well, I need to patch that for you, or we need to get you a new pair of jeans. I was like, no, 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 no. This is no, because everybody, the holes in your jeans was awesome, right? It was a thing. And she started laughing, but she let me continue to wear them because, that's what the kids were doing. So we need to pray for those people in Jamaica. It's going to be bad, 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 bad. Trump addresses U.S. troops on aircraft carrier in Japan. If y'all need to go check that out. Amazon is cutting 14,000 corporate jobs to be leaner in the age of AI. So, so all these corporate positions, they're just going to go to AI. It's going to just do it for them. They could probably they really didn't have much of a HR department when I worked for them at a fulfillment center. I was in the packing department where I'd pack the stuff and throw it on a conveyor belt. And then a couple of days a week, I was called a slam operator, which I was the last defense. If the package got kicked out before it went to get on the truck, it went to me to make sure if the weight was wrong or something was wrong. I really enjoyed doing that. That was fun. Or I'd be a supervisor and supervise the aisle. So actually, I enjoyed working there. It wasn't a big deal. They paid good. I had benefits, and it was fine. But 14,000 corporate jobs to be leaner in the age of AI. So getting back to the HR department, I had a question, and I went down. They had this desk, which I thought was the HR. It was two young kids, like they were in their early 20s. And they're like, okay, let me refer you to the computer. So everything you did yourself on the computer, which is something that the first time in my life I never had experienced this. Like you had a job, you would go to the HR department, you would go to your manager, right? You would do all these things that, that we've always done. But this, I never had to call in if I was going to be sick at Amazon. I never had to tell a manager I wasn't coming in tomorrow. You didn't even have to communicate with them at all. You would go online with your name, whatever your code is, you go on and you put in the time that you're going to take off, and then you would utilize your time. Like you had vacation time, you had personal time, and then there was a thing called unpaid time. What did they call? I forgot what the acronym that was for, but whatever. It was unpaid time, but you accumulated unpaid time, and you would probably use that if, say, you were 5 minutes late at working for Amazon. They would dock you an hour of pay just for being 5 minutes late, but you needed time in your bank to cover it. If you didn't save up your time, and you didn't have any time and you're late, you're fired. They'll walk you right out the building. It was pretty strict. I mean, but Building up your time was easy, but young people, they want to leave early. So they would go to the computer, pop it in, and then they would leave early. We worked 10-hour shifts. So a lot of people got fired because they didn't know how to manage their time. But here you have AI, which they were already, Amazon, as big as they are, did not have an HR department. You managed your own stuff, your own insurance stuff, all on the computer. Everything was done. You did it. You were your own HR, basically. So I'm not surprised with this, with AI, are going to take over probably a lot of the management or just some goofy stuff that they've paid, 14,000 people to do these type of corporate upper jobs. It's insane, right? Trump administration says emergency funds can't be used to keep SNAP benefits going. The Democrats are still holding out. I saw something last night saying they might have caved for $20 billion. We'll take $20 billion. My first thought when I saw that last night was like, okay, so they did a counter offer. Well, give us $20 billion since you're not going to give us $1.5 trillion, but can you give us $20 billion? I want them, the Republicans, to show us exactly what that $20 billion, where is it going? I want a printout. They are putting this forward. Well, you got to give us something. So what the hell does the Democrats want? Why do they need $20 billion if the Republicans produced a clean, big, beautiful bill? What are they going to spend $20 billion on? I really want to know. I want to know. I want to see it. Because I know Trump's already going to cancel out all the he's trying to shut down all the stupid air turbines and all of these pet projects that are just a waste of money. It's worse for the environment. It's killing whales. It kills birds. And the crap that they use, the materials are all toxic. It is terrible. Y'all go Google this stuff. It is insane. Insane. So SNAP benefits are going to run out. And we all seen these women going, I'm going to get mine, and they're going to go and steal stuff from the store. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Texas is suing makers of Tylenol over alleged autism link. Well, I think my thing was something's wrong with the encoding. But anyway, so Texas is suing makers of Tylenol over alleged autism link. We need to be watching out for that. Oh, Comer unleashes on Biden, demands DOJ probe of Autopen using scathing new report. Now, we're going to read an article from the New York Post on what that kind of entails. I did a video yesterday. A man was arrested for putting a hit out on Pam Bundy. Confederate statue is reinstalled. Okay. All right. Let's see. New arrest made nearly 5 years after deadly Chattanooga shooting. Oh, my goodness. And this is local news from the area I live in. So they've got some live updates, which I'll probably check in a little while. I got a cough. My goodness. Pardon. Well, there's that. Let's get this out of the way. And let's get on to this article. The Biden Autopen, which is a huge scandal, right? I need some water. I've been drinking a lot. Well, not a lot. I've had maybe a cup and a half this morning of coffee. I've got some guys are coming over today to work on we have to replace a floor in the hallway. If some kind of water leak or something and the floor has gotten weak. We're in a very old house, by the way. It's probably 100 years old. And we call it the money pit, and then you never have money. But, there it is. there it is. Got to do what you got to do. It seems like we just had this fixed like 15 years ago, and then now here we are doing it again. It's crazy. Crazy stuff is happening. Crazy. Now here we go. Biden. Did that not give me the title? Biden Autopen orders should be what? Should be void, as elderly president's actions were not all his own after health cover-up bombshell report finds. Yeah, we all knew he wasn't there. We all knew it. Let's see here. Dozens of Joe Biden's executive actions cannot all be deemed his own. What? Yeah, I agree. Even with that first sentence, it's like, really? After his closet, his closest advisors went to great lengths to prop up the 46th president as he suffered physical and cognitive decline in office, according to a bombshell report released Tuesday. I don't know how much of a bombshell it is, because we all saw it. He was tripping. Remember the image of Biden not knowing where he's at, and it's like Obama kind of took his arm and then led him to where he needed to go. Yeah, it was clear he was kind of a little lost, and in his ramblings, it's just insane. The House Oversight Committee staff documented, based on more than a dozen interviews with Biden aides, lays out how the Democrats' inner circle took steps to meticulously stage and manage his public appearances, lightened his private workload, and even block lawmakers from talking to him. Guys, I'm hoping there's going to be a whistleblower is going to come out and say something. There's always a whistleblower. There's always a whistleblower. These steps range from addressing President Biden's makeup, clothing, schedule, the number of steps President Biden could walk or climb, good Lord, the amount of time President Biden needed to read and to spend with his family. What? The 91-page report states keeping cabinet meetings to a minimum, eliciting directions from Hollywood on the State of the Union and other events, and using teleprompters even at small and intimate events. What the hell, Hollywood? No wonder they hate Trump. Because Trump's like, why would Hollywood be involved in any kind of government activity? Yeah, no big surprise there, right? They all think they know more than everybody else, too. All these Hollywood people telling you who to vote for. Remember, every time there was a tragedy or something, they would, I think this one, let's bring up Katrina. Now, y'all know this was a long time ago. Us old folks remember it. Remember during Katrina, all the Hollywood elites came out and was doing a fundraiser, right, on TV. You can call in and donate, whatever. Bill O'Reilly did a thing on him, like he wants to know where the money went. I want to know too. I would have to. I don't remember much more than that, guys. But it's just funny that, just bringing up these dumbass Hollywood elites. Like, where did all that money go to for the people at in New Orleans? But we all saw FEMA. What, they brought them little manufactured little teeny houses, but what did all those millions upon millions of dollars, where did that go that the Hollywood elites ran a telethon to get this money? In fact, when Biden gave his son Hunter a sweeping pardon from tax and gun felonies, as well as any potential crimes committed over an 11-year period, the president was given a note card full of approval talking points. Remember when Biden was saying, I'm not going to pardon him, I'm not going to pardon him? But how is that possible? So I could just say, well, you're wave a wand and you're pardoned from any misdeed you ever done in your whole life? What the hell? What the hell is this all about? But he said he wasn't going to pardon him. Remember that? The investigation ran by Oversight Chairman James Comer, Representative Kentucky, also found that executive orders signed by Autopen, including some of presidential pardons, should be considered null and void since they were authorized with no approvable traceable to the president's own consent. Guys, there was like, what was it? Like 1,500 or some crazy amount of pardons, and a lot of them were like heinous criminals. Like, why are you pardoning these people? And even the people, and think about this, even the people in Biden's inner circle, why would they want these heinous criminals pardoned in the first place? Inquiring minds want to know. It's like, why? I mean, I know there's reasons when the president pardons somebody, well, they served 30 years, whatever, but there was always a reason, right, why they got pardoned. Maybe they were a white-collar crime or whatever, or it was a political thing, and they got in trouble, but they had served 10 years, whatever kind of thing. Right, you get what I'm saying? But some of these people were really bad players. Biden himself told the New York Times in July that Autopen was used to sign 25 pardons and commutative warrants in December 2024 and January 2025, some of which granted clemency to thousands of offenders. Hunter Biden's pardon was one of the few the presidential signed by hand during this period. So, okay. So he signed that one by hand. Still, did he even know what he was doing? I mean, if you're a boss, if any of you guys ever been in management, your assistant comes in and says, hey, you got to sign this stuff. We're ordering stuff. Well, what I would ask, because I was a manager at one time. I was like, well, what is this? Oh, that's some stuff we have to order. It's a monthly thing. Okay, and I'd just sign it. Because I trusted her, right? There was no shenanigans going on. But look, what if these insiders who were around Biden was just handing him a bunch of shit to sign? And then he just signed them, and, he's not asking what the fuck it is, right? Kind of thing. Asked directly whether he even knew who operated the Autopen, former White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients, we'll just say that, who approved 11th hour pardons for first family members on January 19, 2025, answered bluntly in a transcribed interview with the comment, I do not. He does not. He don't know. He don't know what's going on here. They were good processes in place, insisted Zients, who acknowledged that he didn't attend discussions of who would receive last day pardons from Biden and was only briefed on it by an aide. So where's this aide? I want that aide. What aide was it? There were verbal authorizations of the president's decision that would occur on occasion. What? Did he just mumble something? Damn, Hunter Biden weighed in on some of these family discussions of pardons towards the very end of the administration. And it's also admitted, Hunter Biden, why the hell would you have this crackhead in the White House discussing this with you? That blows my mind. Yeah, that cocaine probably was Hunter Biden's cocaine. Damn. And they found that cocaine in the White House. Good Lord. The authority to grant pardons is not provided to the president's inner circle, nor can it be delegated to particular staff when a president's competency is in question, the report notes. Well, duh, that should be just a given, right? Importantly, even if this authority could be delegated, which it cannot, it would have to be expressly delegated by the president himself, which is absurd. Nobody else but the president can do this. And look, here's a picture of, that's Biden's wife. She was probably one of the main players in this, manipulating her husband. She's probably in bed with the left-wing libtards and, excuse me, allergies are really acting up today. It's raining. I don't know what's going on. I was okay the last 2 days. She's probably in bed with all of them. Just going out on a limb here. Because if anybody on the planet would know about his cognitive skills, his mental, it would be her. It would be her. In a June statement, Biden maintained, let me be clear. Let me be crystal clear. Remember, Obama used to say that? I'm crystal clear. I made the decisions during my presidency. I made the decisions about the pardons, executive orders, legislation, and proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false. No, I don't think it's ridiculous, and I'm not buying it that it is not false, because everybody knew the lights were on and nobody was home. The Oversight Panel issued a separate letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi Tuesday demanding all full investigation of Biden's executive actions and clemency, as well as top aides deeply involved in the cover-up who may have committed the crimes. Committed the crimes. Somebody had showed a picture of all the Biden aides, and it looked like just a room full of mostly women and some young men, and they all looked like they were in their 20s. I was like, holy shit. We were screwed. Biden allies accused of having facilitated the cover-up include Deputy Chief of Staff Annie Thomasy, I guess that's how you say him, and White House physician Dr. Kevin O'Connor, and former First Lady Jill Biden's Chief of Staff Anthony Brunel. I think Jill Biden needs to be asked questions too, because she knew. All three took the Fifth Amendment. Well, now, are we surprised when hauled before the Oversight Panel in recent months? They took the Fifth. Why? Why would you take the Fifth? Because you don't want to incriminate yourself? Because then, okay, they're hiding something. If you had nothing to hide, I got nothing to hide. Biden said, hey, whip out the Autopen. My hand hurts. I got arthritis. Who the hell knows? What the hell is going on? O'Connor invoked his right against self-incrimination when asked, were you ever told to lie about the president's health? And did you ever believe President Biden was unfit to execute his duties? He knew he was unfit. Come on, people. We all saw it, and we weren't with him as much as they were. Think about that. Every time you saw him talking and stumbling and bumbling, rambling on, not knowing where he's at, not knowing which side. Now, look, I understand, like, sometimes you might not which side of the stage to exit, but he was just in a daze on a lot of these conferences or when he was given small venues, and it's televised and we're watching it, we're like, what? Like, we all knew. I knew something was going on. I didn't have to have the news people tell me. I was already thinking it while I'm watching it. A key figure in the cover-up, Dr. O'Connor, propped up the president through glossy, misleading medical assessments. The report assessed of the medical expert who attended to Biden for at least 15 years. His refusal to answer questions about the execution of his duties as physician to the president, combined with testimony indicating that Dr. O'Connell may have succumbed to the political pressure from the inner circle, influencing his medical decision and aiding in the cover-up, legitimizes the public's concerns that Dr. O'Connell was not forthright in carrying out his ultimate duties to the country. His ultimate duty to the country. So he betrayed us too. Let's see if I can get this guy's name. Shuttler David. Let's just call him David Shuttler, and Mark McDonald, who represented O'Connell in a deposition, said in a statement at the time that physician-patient privilege and the physician's ethical duty of confidentiality required that Dr. O'Connell refuse to testify about any aspect of his care and treatment of President Biden. Though other medical professionals like former Obama White House Dr. Jeffrey Coleman have disputed that doctor-patient privilege would have been violated by the questions posed. I don't see anything wrong with these questions in light of all of these crazy-ass pardons, which if the pardons weren't like all crazy, right, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But there was way too many. It was a big problem, and we want to get to the bottom of this. Oh, I jumped up a little bit too much. While Trump and oversight Republicans have stressed that Biden's Autopen authorized actions should be deemed void, DOJ memos have suggested in the past that the president need not hand sign each act of clemency, the power of which is absolute and has not been curtailed by court rulings or acts of Congress. Side note, what would you guys think? Should we just do away with the Autopen? I mean, why is that necessary? Okay, so like what is he having to sign 1,000 things a day? Who created the Autopen? I don't know. I didn't go research that, by the way, so I'm just saying, what need do we have for the Autopen, especially if it's going to be misused by handlers around the President of the United States? Like, what the hell is he signing? Maybe he should be reading everything, right? He should be reading everything, not just me going, okay, what's this? Okay, this is some shit we have to order for next month to keep, No, he needs to read everything because it could be some cray-cray shit, right? I mean, it's government. It's some serious stuff here. Very telling that they would prefer to mischaracterize than produce the actual evidence, one Biden ally also said of the oversight panel's report. They're still sitting on the actual transcript, which allows them to continue to push their baseless claims. I don't think it's baseless. This was crazy. We all knew Biden's mental. He wasn't there, my guy. He's not there. Lights on, nobody's home. And then you have this massive, well, good God. It was massive spending on all the crap that they were doing. Somebody was talking last night by saying Biden in the past of his record, being on record, is he was for closed borders and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. I mean, Rush Limbaugh used to always say, he was a scumbag, basically. I mean, I don't know if that's Rush Limbaugh's exact words, but guy was scummy, smelling kids' hair and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Kids rubbing on his hairy legs, all kinds of creepy stuff. But as far as that, like, as soon as he got in office, all of a sudden, everything just went far left, right, guys? This thing went all cray-cray. How much of did Biden actually even know what was going on in his own administration on a day-to-day basis? Comer added in a statement that Biden Autopen presidency will go down as one of the biggest political scandals in U.S. history. Well, they all keep claiming the fifth, so we need some more deep dive The DOJ, the FBI, all of them need to. Good night. Can y'all imagine all the shit that Trump, DOJ, the FBI, the military, the shit that they're having to clean up? Dude goes, and the Secretary of War stands up in front of those generals and says, "You are fat and you are lazy." And he got on their ass. I'm like, well, hell yeah. Clean up. Clean up the military. They're having to clean up the White House. They're having to figure out what the hell. It's insane. It's insane. And the DOJ and Pastel, FBI, they're having to work to get these people out of the country. It's crazy. It's like they had to hit the ground running. Hit the ground running because of the Biden administration, and God knows who was running the country. It's unbelievable. It's just mind-boggling to me. Biden was submitted to some neurological work during his annual physicians, but the results were never released to the public, and he did not undergo any cognitive tests. Y'all know, if this was Trump, they'd be screaming for the results. You're holding back from the people. I even already seen some reports of saying, "Oh, Trump went and got he got an MRI or something." I don't even know if it's true. I didn't try to go verify it because it was a left-wing news source. But I figured if anything come of it, we would hear about it. We'd hear more about it. But they're like, "Oh, Trump went and got this, and they're not releasing nothing, and they're not telling us anything, and why did he do this, and blah, 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 blah." Oh, but not a peep out of them. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. Not a peep out of them. The whole Biden administration, which almost every day was gaffes, didn't know where he was, and he seemed like he was a deer in the headlights. I mean, good God, we all saw the debate. O'Connell would summarize the test in a brief letter to the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre. Okay, Karine Jean-Pierre.
And as a person who's also LGBTQ.
As a black woman, I am a black woman, I am a queer woman, I am an immigrant. Being a black woman, as a black woman myself, that is the thing that I understood as a black woman, is that I meant a lot to people because of the communities that I represented. And whether it was women of color, black women, queer community, LGBTQ community, immigrant. And as a black woman, and I have my queerness too.
So, Karine Jean-Pierre had wrote a book. She wrote a book. She's been on a book tour. That clip right there was from her stomping for her book, peddling her book. That was just from the past week. Every interview she had to tell the audience or the person interviewing her that she was black. And she's queer. Don't forget, she's got her queerness. She said that in that last one. She goes, "I'm black and I got my queerness. I got my queer card going." Oh, man. Oh, man, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Karine Jean-Pierre, black woman and queer, each year claiming to have ruled out more serious diagnosis like Parkinson's disease. He never took questions from media. Yeah, she always kept saying he was fine. He was fine. He knew who was in the room. He was on top of it. A lot of them were saying that. I probably should play that clip every time I say her name. Notably, Jean-Pierre, who's black and has her gay card, her queer card, I'm sorry, who infamously claimed in February 2024 that Biden passes a cognitive test every day. Why would he have to take this every day? refused to answer any questions to commit about a meeting the president had with Parkinson's expert on the White House that January. Others, like Zentens, called for a full workup on Biden after his disastrous June 27, 2024 debate against Donald Trump, during which the president stated non-sequiturs. I mean, it was a disaster. We finally bet Medicaid. We finally beat Medicaid. Just y'all remember that? He just said, and Trump could have went after him, but he didn't. He kept the higher ground because, I mean, the look on his face was like, my God, this guy doesn't even know where he's at, and Trump knew it. And spoke in a halting, raspy voice that aides attributed to a cult. See, they kept covering up for him, and covering up for him. I think the debate just went too long, and we all saw it. He got tired. He got fatigued. I don't know if they had him on any kind of medicine. God knows what these people were doing. Let me see. Let's see if I get this right. Oversight panel. Okay, we got that. Yeah, this thing is how it breaks up. What, did I just go too far down? No, here we are. Here we are. I do recall the communications team brought forward, led by Biden senior advisor Anita Dunn, the question on whether the president should have a cognitive test when he did his physician, which Dr. O'Connell had not done. And there had been some coverage around that, Zionist said in September 18th, transcripts interview with the oversight panel. Yeah, they're all going to be running for cover. There was discussion of, would during the test help on this perception of Biden's age issue? Would it actually hurt? Because people would say, well, that's a very simple test, he added. Damn. Okay. Bruce Reed, Biden's former deputy chief of staff for policy, told the committee that he heard Dr. O'Connor say congenitive exams are meaningless. Okay. Then why have them if they're meaningless? I don't know. I'm just asking questions here. I'm not a doctor. I don't know this shit. We just all know what we see and hear, right? Watching Biden on stage at the debate. Prior to that, watching him trip, fall, stumble in his speech. Seems he doesn't know where he's at. This happened so many times. I was already questioning his brain power even before the debate. The senior advisors decided that no matter how many tests he took, he would never really quit the people were attacking him. The people attacking him were in an election year on these issues, Don told oversight staff. Well, yeah, you would. But he's right in to say that they'll never be quiet because of what we had been seeing for months, if not years, of his decline. So, of course, no matter what you said or did, everybody knew it. And then with the Autopen shit, and then it comes out he did, 1,500 people? Or some crazy-ass number of him pardoning these people? Yeah, it's like, bro, something's up. We did not have any concern about his ability to pass these tests, she added. We did not think it would help politically. Okay. So you shot him to the curve. You knew he wasn't all there. And you threw in Kamala Harris without even a primary in March 2024. The Biden White House tried to quell speculation about the president's physical and mental infirmity by recruiting Hollywood producer Jeffrey Katzenberg and Academy Award winner director Steven Spielberg to help him prepare for his State of the Union address. Zionists also mentioned, what the shit is that? Now, I never knew nothing about this, y'all. I don't catch everything. I just like to talk about things I'm interested in, and that, hey, it's all good like that. It's all good like that. You had to bring in somebody from Hollywood, Steven Spielberg, to help him with his State of the Union address? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Special counsel Robert Hall had found the months before that Biden willfully kept classified information at his private residence after leaving the Biden White House, but declined to bring federal charges, in part because the jury would view him as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. That was one reason why Biden declined to sit for a traditional Super Bowl interview with CBS News, according to Dunn. This is just crazy. O'Connell, Dunn, and senior advisor Mike Dolan, whatever, were among those who stood to gain financially by keeping him in the 2024 race, according to the Oversight Committee, with Dillon expected to net at least $8 million total if the president won his second term. Well, what'd he lose? Because Biden ended up not even winning. Elsewhere, Reid said Biden occasionally exhibited the vigor of a man far younger, including on a return flight from NATO. Yeah, he was probably hitting on the stewardess summit in Brussels when he joined senior staff in a cabin on Air Force One, and aides had to take turns staying awake to listen to his stories. Oh my God. And then talk to the entire way home across the Atlantic. That is pathetic. That's the only evidence you can give us, is that he rambled fucking all night on a plane back from Brussels. Are you serious? My God. But no aides interviewed by oversight staff were able to corroborate Hunter Biden's claim that his father's bungled debate was the result of being put on Ambien sleeping pills. Well, why the hell would you give him sleeping pills 2 days before or a week before this? Good Lord. And only Ron Klein, Biden's first chief of staff in the White House, was willing to admit his performance was poor. Really? You had to admit it? You just say, good God. He said, we're fucked. Klein recalled, thinking of his response when testifying to the oversight panel. I certainly knew that we had a big political problem as a result of the debate. They knew it before the man stepped on the stage. They probably doped him up with something, thinking, okay, he's got this amount of time. And they're just crossing their fingers that he makes it to the finish line. But no, we beat Medicaid. That famous line, we beat Medicaid, which came out in left field. You're like, what? No one of the committee's 14 witnesses was willing to admit that they ever had a concern about President Biden being in cognitive decline. The report also notes, in fact, numerous witnesses could not recall having a simple conversation about Biden's cognitive health with anyone inside or outside the White House. That is the biggest line of hog-ass bullshit I've ever heard in my life. If the rest of us in the United States could watch him on television and say, there's something wrong, these people were his inner circle. These people were around him. And you're telling me we never talked about it. He was fine. He talked all night on a plane coming back from Brussels. The report concluded, it is unclear whether these Biden aides were attempting to be deceptively enthusiastic about President Biden's cognitive skills. You know they were. Or whether they had so deceived themselves and that they actually believed that there to be a meaningful distinction, that the American people were simply worried that President Biden was old and that he was in cognitive decline. So they're optimistic about his cognitive decline? Were they deceptive? I think so. I think so. I think so. What is this? The investigation into baseless claims has confirmed that he has been clear from the start. President Biden made the decision of his presidency, and spokesman for Biden said in a statement, that there was no conspiracy, no cover up, and no wrongdoing. Congressional Republicans should stop focusing on political retribution instead of work to end the government shutdown. Oh, there's nothing to see here, folks. Y'all got bigger problems. They worried about how we fucked the country up during Biden's administration. Don't worry about that. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Representative Robert Garcia, the top Democrat of the Oversight Committee, ripped Republicans for conducting a sham investigation and denied that Biden had failed to authorize every executive order, pardon, and use of the Autopen. Well, now, this is such bullshit. This does need to be investigated. Damn. If it was a Republican president, oh my God. Y'all know. White House Republicans obsessed about Biden's health. They are ripping away health care from 17 million Americans and spiking premiums. Garcia, Democrat from California. We see how your state looks, my guy. Said in a statement, it is clear the only person's health that Republicans care about is Joe Biden. Ooh, wasn't he being clever? Trump don't care about all these other people who are going to lose health care. This is the problem, y'all. The subsidies run out. The Democrats actually signed it. They only had the subsidies during COVID. So once it was over, you got to go back to paying what you're supposed to pay. This bullshit that all these people are going to lose their health care is stupid and absurd. But boy, is he clever. It's clear the only person's health that Republicans care about is Joe Biden and not the health of 17 million Americans. Where do they get these numbers? 17 million. 17 million Americans. 50 million people are going to die. They just pop out these numbers, and I'm always wondering, where the hell did they get this 17 million? Attorneys for O'Connor, Bernal, and Tomasini, whatever, did not immediately respond to requests for comment at the time of their depositions. Attorney Jonathan Sue, who represented Bernal and Tosani, said any suggestions that such an invocation itself evidence of wrongdoing would be highly irresponsible and flatly wrong, particularly from those elected to represent the people and uphold the Constitution. Oh, yeah, they really want to uphold the Constitution. The Democrats and the left despise America and everything about her. There is no actual evidence of wrongdoing by Mrs. Tashumi and President Tashumi. I don't even know. President Biden has already confirmed that he made all decisions concerning the grants of clemency at the end of his term, Sue said. Sue said, so it must be okay. We're going to believe what Sue said, right? It's well known that there is an ongoing federal criminal investigation into this matter by the Department of Justice, ordered by the current White House. Sue added in his statement this past week. The chairman suggested that it's very possible that the investigation could generate criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. Under these circumstances, any reasonable person would seriously consider an invocation of their Fifth Amendment rights. Yeah, they're probably scared shitless. Or just hoping they destroyed all the documentation. Shetler and McDowell, noted that same federal probe in a separate statement when their client took the Fifth. The totality of the circumstances surrounding his committee's investigation leave Dr. O'Connell no choice but decline to answer questions. The Post reached out to reps for the DOJ for comment, and there was no comment. So his doctor don't want to come clean, probably because I would think he would lose his reputation, right? Because doesn't he have a duty to the country? Does he not have a duty to the United States, of the people of the United States, to tell us? But this article is suggesting that he was succumbed to the pressure of his surrounding circle to hide this. I do think this is a huge scandal. I think it needs to be thoroughly vetted. And I do think these people are guilty. Again, I'll reiterate. If it was obvious to somebody like me sitting on my couch watching either interviews of Biden over those past 4 years, or him going to these little small venues and standing up, and he has to have the freaking teleprompter for a little small venue. His State of the Union, the debates, him tripping and stumbling, him looking like a deer in the headlights. And none of us are doctors, but this is what we see. We saw it. So these people clearly covering up for him. Clearly. Let me know what you think. And there you have it. There you go. Oh, and let me know if you probably done closed. If anybody's still watching this video, let me know what you think of the video to the side. I do have some sections on my channel where I made this. I put music to it, and I did the clips and stuff because I liked them. So they're soft and easy. You can study. So there's a playlist for those. And there you have it. And let me know if you like it. There you go. Have a great day.